For decades, we were told a bowl of oats was the heart-healthy choice. But if you are over 60, that bowl might be doing the exact opposite. In this video, we are going to expose why whole grains are secretly spiking your blood sugar and exactly what you should eat instead. We're cutting through the noise of outdated nutritional advice. First, we'll look at the star arc trap, why your body processes oats differently now than it did at 30. Then, we'll break down the glycemic index lie. Finally, I'll give you 3 savory replacements that keep your insulin stable and your energy high. Wisdom is knowing when to change your habits. Let's get into it. We need to start with a biological truth. Your body is fundamentally different at 65 than it was at 35. You haven't lost your wisdom, but your cells have lost some of their sensitivity. Specifically, they have lost sensitivity to insulin. Insulin is the key that opens the cell door to let glucose or sugar move in. If that key stops working well, the sugar stays trapped in your bloodstream. This is called insulin resistance. This condition grows more common after 60. This is why the breakfast choices you made for decades are now actively working against you. That bowl of oatmeal that kept you satisfied in your 30s is now behaving like a giant spoonful of sugar. This matters because chronic high blood sugar is linked to every major illness we are trying to avoid in our prime years. So why oatmeal? It's a grain, right? It has fiber. It is marketed as the perfect start. The problem lies in preparation and processing. Think about the oats you usually buy. Are they instant? Rolled? These are highly processed grains. They have been steamed, flattened, and dried. This processing breaks down the starches into easily digestible components. When you eat a bowl of these highly refined starches, your body breaks them down almost instantly. This rapid process turns the carbohydrates directly into glucose. Your pancreas sees this flood of sugar. It tries to compensate by releasing a massive amount of insulin. This is the blood sugar spike. When you have insulin resistance, that insulin is fighting a losing battle. The sheer volume of glucose overwhelms your system. This rapid spike is damaging. We need to prioritize stability, not surges. This glucose surge creates the infamous blood sugar roller coaster. You feel energized for about 45 minutes. Then comes the inevitable crash. That sudden mid-morning tiredness isn't just getting older. It is a biological reaction to high insulin levels dropping suddenly. It affects your focus. It affects your mood. It also sabotages your efforts to maintain a healthy weight. When your blood sugar crashes, your body panics. It demands more fuel immediately. This leads to intense cravings for simple carbohydrates and sugars just a few hours after eating. If you find yourself reaching for a sugary snack before lunch, your breakfast is the problem. Furthermore, these chronic spikes force your body to store the energy quickly. Guess where that stored energy goes? It's often stored as visceral fat. This is the type of deep belly fat that is strongly linked to heart issues and inflammation. If you are struggling with stubborn weight gain in your midsection, rethinking your morning bowl of grains is step 1 toward metabolic freedom. If wisdom means cutting through the noise, then let's stop eating foods that cause internal chaos. Now, let's address the confusion. People often defend oatmeal because of the glycemic index, or GI. They say, I eat steel-cut oats. The GI is lower. The GI is meant to measure how quickly a food raises blood sugar. But for older adults, the GI score can be misleading. First, the GI doesn't account for how much you eat. Most people eat a very large serving of oatmeal. Second, the GI doesn't account for insulin resistance. Your ability to clear that glucose is compromised. Third, it doesn't account for the additives. Most people dress their oatmeal with sugar, honey, maple syrup, or dried fruit. You have taken a high-carb base and turned it into a full-blown dessert. We were promised heart health through grains. We were told to limit saturated fats and increase carbohydrates. This advice, based on older, flawed models, led millions down a path of carbohydrate dependency. The wisdom is knowing when to discard old dogma. The goal of a healthy breakfast after 60 is not to maximize fiber alone. The goal is to maximize * protein times enams times * and * healthy fats. These two macronutrients are the armor against the sugar spike. They slow digestion. They satisfy you. They provide the amino acids your muscles desperately need to fight age-related loss. So what is the alternative? Let's initiate the wisdom swap. We need to shift away from carb-centric meals and toward protein-centric meals. This is the simple change that delivers massive results. When you start your day with 25 to 35 grams of protein, you prime your body for success. You stabilize your blood sugar for the next 4 hours. You suppress the hunger hormone, ghrelin. You feel strong and focused. Let's look at the 3 simplest swaps. The first swap targets the savory preference. Forget the eggs being linked to high cholesterol. That science is decades old and has been soundly debunked. Eggs are a nearly perfect food, especially the yolk, which contains crucial choline for brain health. A simple 3-egg scramble with some spinach and a slice of avocado provides excellent protein and healthy fat. This meal will not spike your blood sugar. It fuels muscle synthesis, which is crucial for fighting frailty. The second swap targets the quick, high-volume meal. If you like the convenience of a big bowl, try Greek yogurt. But there is a crucial caveat here. You must choose the plain, full-fat variety. Most flavored yogurts are sugar bombs. A cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt contains 20 to 25 grams of protein. You can flavor it safely with a handful of fresh berries, blueberries or raspberries, because they are low on the glycemic scale and high in beneficial fiber. Add a tablespoon of walnuts or flax seeds for healthy fats and crunch. This replaces the texture of oatmeal without the associated blood sugar risk. This is the kind of high protein density that truly works for the aging body. The third swap is for those who rely on texture and warmth. If you need a warm breakfast, skip the grain and try cottage cheese. This might sound strange, but warm cottage cheese is excellent. Simply heat a half cup and sprinkle it with cinnamon. Cottage cheese is packed with casein protein, which is slow digesting. It keeps you full for a remarkably long time. You can even mix in a few drops of vanilla extract for flavor. This is a powerful, low-carb, high-protein alternative that many overlook. These swaps aren't complicated. They just require wisdom and a change in habit. Now let's address the nuance. Some people will say, I only eat steel-cut oats. Is that better? Yes, minimally. Steel-cut oats are less processed. They take longer to cook. This means your body takes longer to break them down into glucose. The blood sugar spike is slower, but it still happens. You can still cause metabolic strain by eating them alone. If you absolutely must have your morning oats, you need to follow the golden rule of carb armor. Never eat a carbohydrate naked. A naked carb is a carb eaten without its armor of protein and fat. If you eat a bowl of steel-cut oats, treat it as a side dish. Add a large scoop of protein powder to the cooking process, or mix in a handful of nuts and seeds, and always pair it with eggs or cottage cheese on the side. This is called nutrient pairing. The protein and fat act as speed bumps in your digestive system, slowing the release of glucose. This small strategic adjustment is the difference between a blood sugar crash and sustained energy. Wisdom is not always about cutting things out. Sometimes it's about better combinations. Let's discuss one more common pitfall that often happens alongside the bad breakfast habit: the timing trap. Many people over 60 drink coffee immediately upon waking, often before eating anything substantial. Black coffee is virtually calorie-free, so it seems harmless. However, caffeine triggers the release of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. When cortisol rises, your body often releases stored sugar from the liver as a protective mechanism. This is part of the dawn phenomenon. You can spike your blood sugar simply by having coffee on an empty stomach. If you pair this coffee-induced spike with a bowl of rapidly digested oatmeal, you create a metabolic disaster right out of the gate. The wiser approach is simple timing. First, hydrate. Drink a full glass of water. Second, eat your protein and fat-based breakfast. Wait 20 to 30 minutes. Third, enjoy your coffee. Eating a solid meal first buffers the cortisol response. It allows your body to use the calories you just ate for energy, rather than relying on the liver to dump stored glucose. This is prime-time wisdom in action, working smarter, not harder, to respect your body's unique needs at this stage of life. Let's review the foundational rule for building a powerful breakfast, the FPF rule. This rule ensures you maximize energy and minimize metabolic strain. First, focus on asterisked and protein. Aim for 25 to 35 grams minimum. This is critical for muscle mass and satiety. Examples: eggs, cottage cheese, plain Greek yogurt, or a high-quality whey protein powder. Second, incorporate asterisked fats. Healthy fats provide long-lasting energy and improve flavor. Examples: avocado, nuts, like walnuts and almonds, olive oil or butter. Remember, fats do not spike insulin. Third, include asterisk DOF fiber. DOF fiber is essential for gut health and helps slow digestion. Sources should be low sugar. Examples: leafy greens, small handfuls of berries, chia seeds, or flax seeds. If a food does not fit neatly into one of these three categories, treat it with caution. That beloved piece of toast, that sweet cup of fruit juice, that bowl of instant oatmeal, these are high-carb, low-protein, low-fat foods. They provide minimal armor against the sugar spike. They cause the metabolic damage we are working to prevent. We live in an age where information is abundant, but wisdom is scarce. Many of the dietary guidelines passed down from the 80s and 90s focused on avoiding fat at all costs. Now, the science is clear. For metabolic health, particularly as we gain wisdom in age, The greatest priority is managing carbohydrate load and boosting protein intake. If you want stable energy, better focus, and easier weight management, you must rethink the breakfast plate. The journey toward a well-lived life is about continuous improvement and shedding the habits that no longer serve us. Discard the notion that grains are required for a healthy heart. Embrace the power of protein. Make that first meal of the day the foundation of strength and stability. If you found this insight valuable, subscribe to Primetime Wisdom. We are dedicated to bringing you evidence-based advice that cuts through the confusing noise, helping you thrive in your prime years. Take this simple challenge. Try the protein-first breakfast for 7 days. Notice the difference in your energy levels and your mid-morning focus. This shift is practical, powerful, and immediately rewarding. Get wiser about what's on your plate. Start eating for the wisdom you now possess.